All right, welcome back to episode 267 of the Guide and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
I'm your host, Doug.
I choked on my own mouth there. We use this podcast to talk about guide guns and the responsible Christian gun owners' interest. On this week's show, we'll be speaking with Virginia Senator Amanda Chase, and she will be joining us right now as she is a busy lady. So, welcome to the show, Amanda. We appreciate you coming on with us.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
Good deal. We have all of us are getting notifications. I just turned my phone off. Everybody's busy here. So we want to thank you for coming on the show. We've seen you working with VCDL. We've seen a lot of your interviews. We've been following you. And Doug and I went up for the lobby day in February. I came over from Kentucky. Of course, Doug came up from Georgia, and we spent the weekend there and being there with all the other Virginians and people from all the United States. What's going on in Virginia? Tell us about this new Congress that's come in, this new governor, and for people that haven't heard about it yet.
How long do you have?
As long as you have.
Oh my gracious. This has really, there's just so much to this story to unpack. I will still, to this day, say Virginia is a red state. And there's a number of reasons for that. But this has been going on. Let's just talk about Virginia in general. Virginia is one of the states where our founding fathers, we have 8 founding fathers who were born here in Virginia, 8. We also have the longest continuous running legislature in the New World. We have Jamestown. We have a lot of history here in Virginia. So the big picture question is here, why Virginia? Why are they coming so hard after Virginia? This has been going on, an attempt to overthrow the Republican majority that we once had in Virginia just 10 years ago. And it has been a gradual change and then boom. What's going on? Bloomberg is throwing his money into Virginia. This is my second term, the beginning of my second term in the Virginia Senate. And my opponent outspent me, had Alec Baldwin come from California to walk down my street and knock doors with my opponent.
Wow.
They were aggressively going after the legislature to try to flip control because we used to have a supermajority in the state house, and we had a slight majority in the Virginia Senate. And so the first thing they did, they originally, remember, we have a census every 10 years. And so we've had basically the same makeup, the same lines drawn for the past 10 years since the last census. And, we're coming on a census this year. They're doing the 2020 census. But in the 8th year, right before we do the redistricting, a couple things happen. And I want everybody across the U.S. to really understand what's going on here. This is a long-term strategic plan, and you got to watch it because it's coming to your state. And what they do is they try to challenge through court cases like they did our lines. In the 8th year, you've got 8 years, 2 years until the census is up, and they're challenging the court cases. Why? Because they want to draw the lines. They want to be in control when the lines are drawn for all the congressional, everything. Everything is on the table here. Mm-hmm. So they bring in this governor, Terry McAuliffe, who wins. And he's one of the Clintons' major fundraisers.
Right.
And he starts funding all these campaigns across Virginia, doing everything he can. So they challenge the lines and they win. And they have a liberal college professor from California who ends up drawing one professor, not even a Virginian, drawing all the lines at the 9th hour, okay? The 8th year, right before a census is going to be done anyway. And the courts reorder this professor to draw the line. So that's step 1. Step 2, they pour all this money in. New York, California. I put in a constitutional amendment to limit outside dollars coming in and influencing our state's races.
Right.
I don't think that should be allowed, not on either side, honestly. And it's happening. They're using money to influence our races. And, so what happened is they eventually took control of the state. Now, if you look at a map of Virginia, it looks mostly red, except for Northern Virginia, Richmond, and the Virginia Beach area. And so it's these highly densely populated areas that are carrying our state. Virginia is, when I travel across the state, most people are for guns and guns. They just are. And so that's a big warning for everybody. And let me tell you the end result. This year is when the new majority took control. The first time in 27 years. No checks and balances in place. Everything that we have held back for decades. Floodgates open. They got whatever they want. Restrictions on, it was an all-out attack on our Second Amendment, our First Amendment, our religious rights, our small businesses, all these new burdens that added to them, on our election process, no voter ID anymore. All of these bills that we used to think were crazy and would never get through are now passing. And our Democratic governor just signed them into law over Labor Day weekend. Over Easter.
Yeah.
Over Easter. And so here we are. I sit on the front row of the Senate and I have the press right in front of me. I am not an attorney. I am not trained and prepared to keep a stoic face. So half the time I look like I'm in shock or ticked off. That's my face. And that's what you see on the news. I always look angry. It's because I am. In fact, a lot of people say, why are you running for governor? Because I can't take it anymore. Right. With every bill they passed, it was like watching the Titanic hit an iceberg in slow motion. One bill at a time, they chipped away our constitutional rights. And at one point, y'all have to understand this. I really don't I'm more of a quiet, reserved person, but this has brought out my inner spirit, if you will. Right. And I was pushing that. I think I spoke more this year on the floor than I have in my life since I've been there. And I even called the Democrats. I called them traitors to the U.S. Constitution and Virginia Constitution right on the floor. To the point where the Democrat majority leader called me out and said that I wasn't following the Senate rules. So I had to hit the button again and say, well, I respect the Constitution over your silly little Senate rules. Yeah. The Constitution takes precedent over everything. And the Democrats don't get that. They don't get it.
Well, no, it stands in their way. The Constitution limits what the government can do. And so they want to do away with that. That's been their goal on every election, to try to, water down the Constitution as much as possible. What was it? Obama called it negative rights. That tells you how he sees it. He wants the government to be in control of everything, and the people have to beg and plead to have their rights. But instead, the government's one that has to plead with the people to try to take their right, or is supposed to be.
And it's a conflicting place to be right now, with COVID in place. And I think we were talking about this on the break. A lot of people don't like politics. I know that I don't, and I didn't. And a lot of people aren't engaged in politics. But if anything can come good out of this, everybody is woken up. Yeah. We have your governor is so important, because their worldview is going to depend on whether you are allowed to keep your constitutional rights even during a crisis. And our governor in Virginia, instead of just educating people, he's mandating everything. And if you don't do what he says, it's a class 1 misdemeanor. And that just got continued today. No social gatherings of 10 or more. Who are you, the king? No. Mm-hmm. You can educate me as a citizen. That's your role as the government. Limit yourself. Give me all the information I need to keep my family safe and make a decision for us. It's risk reward.
Right.
But you have the government and the governor issuing all these executive orders that are, the end result is making it illegal for people to earn a living. That's what it's coming down to.
Well, what they're doing is they're taking law-abiding citizens that just want to work and go to work. They're letting criminals out of jail because they're worried about them getting COVID, but they're putting good people in there because they're trying to make a living. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. You know, you were to say that just now. I had 2 constituents reach out to me this week. They had loved ones who were murdered. And these people are being set free, these prisoners who are murderers. You know, our governor said, oh, it'll be the non-violent offenders. Yeah, not the case. So I'm writing letters to our Department of Corrections saying, no, this is not appropriate. You know, at the bare least, if we're supposed to be protecting the public safety, you know, that I had more chance of getting murdered by them than I do of COVID. Right. You know, I mean, what are they thinking? They're not. I mean, it's just, it makes you wonder, what is the long game here? Do they really love America? Do they really love their state? What is the end game here? Because it really seems like there's a bigger plan to create fear so that people are willing to give up their constitutional rights. And you know, you have a real variety of folks that have very strong opinions on what is going on right now. And it's, you know, you have some of my constituents are staying at home and they're fearful. They don't want to go to the grocery store. They're having all the food delivered to their house. I mean, they're terrified to go outside. They're listening to all the fake fake media and their reports. And, you know, I have to always point people to the Virginia Department of Health site. And I'm like, look at the hospitalizations, look at the deaths. But now you can't even count on that because they've just changed the way that we do the testing here. If you test the same person 3 different times, that counts as 3 cases now. It's just, you know, where's the apples to apples comparison? And how are you really going to know if the cases are going up or down if you keep changing the metrics?
Well, that's just like, I'm sorry, Troy, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, that just goes back to like New York and these other states. If you have underlying health issues, say you're terminal with cancer, right, and you're in the hospital waiting on a test for COVID to see, and you pass away, they're automatically charging that to COVID and marking your death as that. So they're padding the numbers to start with.
Yeah.
Well, even with the numbers they're passing, the data is showing that it's more closer to the flu as a death rate than it is to this, 60 million or something they were blowing at us at the beginning of this. And so, you know, at the first 3 weeks, I gave them benefit of the doubt. Okay, maybe this is some kind of a mega flu. But the thing that bothered me most was the people that were pushing it were the same ones that have been pushing the Trump, trying to put Trump in prison for the last 3 years. And it's the same bunch that are pushing it. And I'm like, there's something wrong here. They're trying to pull something over on us. And so from the get-go, I've been really dubious. I sort of gave them a pass for the first couple of weeks. But now it's sort of obvious that it was used to take control. I think it was to destroy the economy, to try to knock Trump out for this November. I think they tried to do it to, hey, this is an opportunity. We can mess up the economy, get people laid off, and they'll vote in Democrats. And so,
well, I tell you, you know, I guess you could say we're a Democrat state. It's so hard for me to say that.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that on March the 31st, the first stay-at-home order that was issued on March 31st was an order to extend a stay-at-home order until June the 10th. Now, what is so interesting about June the 10th is that in Virginia, it's the day after our primaries here in Virginia.
Right.
Well, imagine that.
And most of the critical elections in Virginia, which is one of those would be the 7th district where I live, they were going to have a convention. I mean, and we've got primaries, you've got U.S. Senate primaries. All of these are getting ready to take place. So it was very obvious to most people that this is all about politics. And our governor is weaponizing the coronavirus. He's using it for political purposes to shut things down, to make Trump look bad, and also to limit our freedoms. You know, we have a bunch of these bills that the General Assembly has passed this past session that go into effect July 1. It would not surprise me because I applied for a permit to have a rally at the state capitol because that's what we're supposed to do. And it was denied because I had more than 10 people. I wanted that. I knew they were going to do it, but it gives me the opportunity, if I choose to later take legal action to keep this from happening again, I have it in writing that they turned down a sitting state senator who had constituents who wanted to rally at the Capitol. Both myself and I had a constituent to file for a permit for a rally, and we were both turned down. Now that didn't deter us. This past Wednesday, we did a May Day Reopen Virginia rally and had thousands of people in their cars circling the Capitol, honking their horns. Right during the governor's press conference, I hear that you could actually, from TV, because he does these press conferences on the TV, and they interrupt your program at 2:00 every day, that you could actually hear the horns through the press conference, which made me happy because I feel like he will hear us here. You just can't ignore this. I mean, you could not walk in Capitol Square or downtown Richmond and not hear the thousands of horns. It was great.
Yeah.
It was just amazing. But people are fed up. You know, we're citizens. We're not servants.
Right. We're the same way in Kentucky. We've been having rallies, and it's been at the times when we call him Little Andy, our Democrat governor, just got elected. When he has his press conferences, everyone would circle around the Capitol because it used to be able to drive around the Capitol. Now he has it blocked off with the state police sitting out there, so you can't drive around the Capitol while he's having his little tell us how he's going to protect us meetings on the TV every night. So tell us what's the major wins that you had and the losses in this last session. You elaborated a little bit on it, but what's the things that you were able to block with the help of as many people as you could get there?
Yeah, well, one of the things that we did, I'm a grassroots kind of girl, and I caucus with the people. So we had a huge rally that you all attended on January the 20th.
Yeah.
Gosh, so many, 75,000. I don't know. I just know when I got up the podium to speak, I could look over the Capitol and it was just a sea of people. Yeah. Every single street was just flooded with people. That was a huge.
It was way underestimated too by the press coverage too.
Oh gosh, yes.
Yeah, we couldn't hear you speak either because of the helicopters. They had like 3 helicopters circling the whole time. You couldn't hear anything.
Oh my goodness. Well, they saw us. They could not ignore us. And I think it encouraged everyone. I think it took everyone's breath away when they saw the number of people that were there. It encouraged us. It made us feel like we're not alone, that we have enough people. This is worth, I mean, it's our Constitution. We got to stand up and fight. There's more of us than there are of them.
Right.
And it was such a peaceful rally. I mean, the streets were even clean. I mean, that was a good day. So I think that is a huge, huge win. I would also say, because the people did turn out, I think it gave us more gravitas with the Democratic legislators. I know for me personally, we took advantage of social media and my Facebook page to post the pictures, the office contact information, and the bill that was an attack on the Second Amendment. And we posted that on Facebook so people could call, and their phones were lighting up. And I'll never forget this. One of the House bills that was to restrict a law-abiding citizen's ability to use assault weapons, it came over to Senate Courts Committee, Judiciary Committee. And the chairman of courts, of course, is a Democrat. And he comes up to me at the beginning of the meeting and he said, "Don't worry, Senator Chase, this bill is going to be passed by for the year. Like, Senator Chase, please call off the dogs. Everybody keeps calling us. Well, I promise it's not going to go through." And, I think the people made a difference. The rallies, right. People showing up, I'm going to count that as a win. The fact that it went from being a felony down to a class 1 misdemeanor, if you could call it that, initially for, a round of a magazine of more than 12 rounds. So I think that is a win, that the bills that the Democrats put forward, they watered them down or in that case with Senator Dick Saslaw's bill, he struck it all together. And his House companion bill got delayed a year. So I'm going to call that a win.
Right.
I'm going to say that another win would be that, you know, that I've never seen such engagement in the 12 years I've been involved in the grassroots movement for the people. Before I was a legislator, I was a grassroots, just a small business owner and a mom that was tired of politics as usual. Our voices will be heard eventually. They're taking notice of the large numbers of us, and we all carry. I mean, the Democrats are afraid of us. And the day on the 20th, a lot of them didn't go to their office and didn't take appointments that day. So I think those, if you could count, if you were desperate to find any wins, they're not a whole lot of wins, but, you know, I'm going to count that, you know, the people woke up. The people woke up.
So, what do you see it's going to be the biggest impact on your Second Amendment supporters there in Virginia? And then I love Virginia. Me and my wife came there for our 25th anniversary. We went up the Blue Ridge Parkway. We started at North Carolina and spent a week going up through, staying at B&Bs and visiting the different sites. And we stopped at Monticello at the end and visited there for a day. And I've always liked going to Virginia. If we've taken our children there, we homeschool. We take our camper and we go visit down in Roanoke, and we go visit Williamsburg and Yorktown and those places, and show them the history of that area. I mean, a lot of my family were in New Kent County now. I think it was what it used to be called. But a lot of our my great-great-grandfather, going back 11 generations, was born in England, and he moved to what county was that? New Kent County, and died there. And all the rest of the Cloptons in the United States all came from that county. So it's pretty neat to see the history going back there. But I love to go to Virginia, and I enjoyed that we had reciprocity. So I don't know, how's that going to affect me now as someone coming from out of state with a concealed carry license? I haven't really read all the law on that. You would know that. And then how's that going to affect your own constituents there?
Yeah, well, let's just talk a little bit about some of the laws. I mean, the reciprocity should stay the same. The challenge is going to be the laws that are actually passed. Let's talk about, we have universal background checks that will pass this year. We also have red flag laws, as you all know, that deny, in my opinion, due process.
Right.
That passed this year. One gun a month passed this year. Also, one that probably could affect you, especially if you're in a touristy area, is that there was a law that was passed that allows the localities to basically create gun-free zones. They have like a big festival and they shut down the streets. You won't be able to protect yourself there. And that's really sad, because I think that's an opportunity for the bad guys with the guns who don't care about the laws that are written anyway, right, to see us as fish in a barrel and just, take advantage of us and to shoot us up. I mean, it's, it's, I mean, this is maddening, because the laws that they're putting forward, they're going after law-abiding citizens. They're not going after the criminals. Put in Project Exile. Do something that goes after the bad guys. But these laws that are passing and will go into effect July 1 here in Virginia, they're going to impact law-abiding citizens. And, they were so hard to push something called the so-called Equal Rights Amendment here in Virginia, saying, women need to be equal, which don't even get me going on that bill. They wanted Virginia to be the 38th state. And I said, women already have the Second Amendment, which is the greatest equalizer. It's our Second Amendment. We can protect ourselves. That's a great equalizer. And I even nicknamed my gun that I carry in the Capitol as my little Equal Rights Amendment. So we got it.
Good deal. Yeah, we just had one of our listeners, Ron Campbell, said she needs to run for governor, and you are running for governor.
I sure am. I am.
So now
People,
this is in 2021.
yes, 2021. I'm already full steam ahead. I love it when people ask me why I'm running for governor. I just give it to them straight. I can't take it anymore. That's
Right.
why I'm running. I can't take it anymore.
I can tell you, Senator, when Troy and I were up for lobby day, we stayed at the hotel and we were outside talking to folks, and on the street we were talking to folks, and it was really cool. But there was a lot of people from Virginia that showed up for that we were talking to, and they're like, I didn't go vote. I didn't think I had to. We didn't think we were going to lose Virginia like that. I'm like, well, what do you think now? I like every vote counts. I can promise you.
Right. It's if you're Democrat, some of them count twice. So
yeah, 3 times.
Exactly. And now that they're taking away the voter ID,
that's crazy.
to vote. I mean, if you go to the library, you're required to have an ID, a picture ID.
Right.
But to vote, you don't have to. And then in Virginia, also illegals can drive now. And if your illegal hits you as a legal citizen, they can actually sue you.
Jeez.
Let that sink in.
Yeah. It just blows my mind how, well, they're just trying to build their constituency. They don't have really anybody left, so they've got to let the criminals out of jail to vote, or they got to let them vote in jail, or they've got to bring in people from other countries in to vote for them because their policies are so unpopular.
Yeah, I love the way you coin that. That's brilliant. I'm going to use that line.
Yeah, it's just it's very obvious. I mean, you have to realize how obvious it is when they have to release the criminals to vote for them. I mean, that in New York they did that in the last election, which the governor up there, Cuomo or whatever, he was trying to give prisoners the right to vote in this last election. So,
wow.
Oh well.
I like that rally day. I like the way the governor up there made himself declared an emergency because Second Amendment supporters were showing up, and that was an emergency because they feared for their life. And he illegally sectioned off out at the Capitol, which you could carry there until the day before, I think it was.
We put the gates up.
Yeah, he put the gates and stuff up and declared an emergency. And you were there, Troy and I were there both. There was zero problems at that rally, and everybody was carrying.
Oh yeah, and I think that's why we didn't have any issues. People called me the night before and they were like, "Chase, what are you doing?" And I said, "I'm going to do the same thing I always do. I'm going to carry."
Yeah.
And what is so sad, and I think so symbolic in looking back at the pictures and just standing there looking at the Capitol. It was really sad to see our Capitol. They used to be free, now in a cage. And I was like, wow, that's so symbolic of this new majority rule in their governance in Virginia. The first time in 27 years, it's been a free Capitol, and now it's engulfed in a big cage.
Right.
We're imprisoned in Virginia. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And I hope it's not a symbol to come. And, we're asked to wear masks now. I think that's symbolic of we're told to sit down and shut up. We're going to take your rights. We're going to cage you and we're going to silence you. I mean, I can't help but visually as people are speaking and out in public, I do on the Wednesday rally, I had a bunch of reporters and everything, and I just pulled that mask down. I'm like, I can't talk. And you hear what I'm having to say. I mean, it silences you.
Right.
And there are a lot of symbols. It reminds me, at Easter, whenever we were, you think about what happened, the true Easter and what happened, and, the slavery and the deliverance from Egypt and all the plagues and everything that's happened. I'm like, this is like the modern day
right.
Egypt in a lot of ways.
Right.
It's just, my husband and I watched the 10 Commandments over Easter. It's 3 hours long. I was like, sometimes you fall asleep and you wake back up and you're like, wow, is this real life?
Right.
Is this real life, or is this that movie that I was just watching? It's become a horror movie.
Yeah. you were going back to the lobby day. That was so surreal because they had police on every corner. They had every street coming into the Capitol blocked off except for one pretty much avenue that was just a big kill zone. And they had their sniper teams up on the roofs and stuff like that. But you couldn't get to where you could actually see the Capitol very well, except for this like one avenue coming in there. They had all these side streets blocked out for 2 blocks, so you couldn't hear. You had to try to keep moving around, and so people were just 2 or 3 blocks out, packed in, trying to get to here, and you couldn't even get up to anywhere close. It took us what, Doug, about an hour to get a block where we could get up to even see the back of the people that were listening to the speakers inside the caged area. And we were there that morning, what, 8 o'clock?
Yeah, we were there early.
Yeah, and we were meeting up with Oath Keepers had a team coming in, and we were both Oath Keepers as well. And so we were going to meet up with those guys, and they couldn't get in from the parking lots because the governor told the parking garages downtown to shut down. So people were having to drive in from way out, being bussed in. And it was sad. It was very sad. And then to hear the news people say that we were a bunch of racists, it was like a replay of Charlottesville. It just irritates the fire out of you when people are lying about your character and lying about the people that were there.
Well, what was funny was we were out there and there was white people, black people, Hispanic people,
Asian
people. I mean, everybody. There were guys in camouflage toting guns. There were guys in 3-piece suits walking around wearing an AR in support. Yeah. I mean, from every walk of life, they were there.
Yeah. People in wheelchairs. It was a cold day, and there were elderly people having to be pushed in from a mile away or 2 miles away from the parking lot where they could find a parking spot. And these are veterans, that had served and are in their 70s and 80s and wrapped up in blankets out there supporting for their, standing up for their rights the best they could under the circumstances. And it was just sad to see that kind of treatment of the citizens of Virginia. It was just amazing to see. And then he didn't even have the gall to be there.
Yeah, I heard he was in his home in the Outer Banks.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was in his bunker because he was scared.
Yeah. So what you propose on doing, coming up with the legislation? I know you're running for office, let's go ahead and get that out there. We had some people say she should run for office, and so how can people support you running for office there in Virginia? Do you have a site set up, or?
I do. There's 2 ways that you can reach me. We have a donations page on my website for governor. It's chase4gov.com. Chase4gov.com. I'm also on Facebook, Senator Amanda Chase and Chase for Governor. Both of those are there. And, we are, in light of COVID, we are building out an online community through Facebook by county. And we have tremendous support across the state. I really had no intentions of running until 2025. I just was thinking I'll take a little bit of time off. And after that rally, my office was bombarded, thousands of emails, people reaching out to social media saying, look, you're the only one out here with us. Right. Please run for governor. Like, we're not going to have a state if you wait until 2025. So my husband and I prayed about it, and I said, well, they're right. There isn't anybody out here with me. They're all in the Capitol huddled in. And, I feel like it's a calling that I'm supposed to do at a service and a duty to my country. And, sometimes you need moms to clean things up. And maybe we need a mom to clean up Virginia after this governor. And, I don't back down. I'm not afraid of them. And, to your point, the media, they're going to come after me. I'm ready. Mm-hmm. They're already coming after me. I have all these groups popping up. It's crazy. But, I said, I'm going to fully run. I don't care if I have $10 in the bank. I will fully run, and I will fully seek the Republican nomination if it's a primary. But if they start with these conventions and all these shenanigans, I won't participate in that.
Yeah.
I've said if they do that, I'll run as an independent, and they can split the vote. I will fully run for the people.
Great.
And so, you just, there's so much, running. I've seen people that run for office. I've helped them to run. I've helped a number of people run statewide. I never considered it really myself. I see what you go through. I see what you have to endure. And it's not fun always. You get all kinds of criticism and insults and lies told about you, but somebody's got to do it. So I'm like, look, I'm going to do it, but just know they're going to throw the book at me. They're going to try to do every scheme in the book they can to discredit me, lie about me, get you to question me and who I am, make me look crazy. That's okay. I'm not dropping out. I will promise you, I will cross the finish line, and with God's help, I will win. I mean, I fully believe that. I feel like we need someone that doesn't care about what the polls say or the media say. A lot of people say, well, if you don't have any money, you're not going to win. Well, I've been outspent in most every single race all my races that I won. And I just want to say I won. It just shows that, the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of door knocking.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And when your volunteers, we use a lot of social media to get the word out. And that's, what we're having to focus on. It's so hard in my area to find people that want to go door to door. I do my own door knocking, but even myself, I like talking to people.
Right.
And, so, you do the best you can with the door to door, but I think thankfully with social media, we can get the word out there, and hopefully people feel like they know me. They know what I stand for. I have highest rating in the Virginia Senate, the highest score with the Tea Party last year in the entire legislature. So I've got a great voting record to stand on. I'm not just talking the talk. Like, I've got proof
Right.
that I am who I say I am. And when they had CPAC, this last year, I got an award while President Trump was at CPAC.
Well, cool.
For my score. So I'm somebody they can trust.
Hey, so Senator, I want to ask you one question. So, Virginia, a lot of it's the 2A stuff right now, but the First Amendment too, the governor has slammed people with that. If you talk bad about any of the Democrats or him, is it a misdemeanor or is it worse?
It's a class 1 misdemeanor. And that is Delegate Jeff Bourne's bill. It was a House bill that basically said it would be considered harassment to, if you harassed you're basically, you can't criticize, you can't use foul language, vulgar language, whatever. What all you see on my Facebook page now, that would all disappear, because it would then be illegal come July 1 to say that against any member of the General Assembly, judges, the Attorney General, Lieutenant Governor, I'm all for the First Amendment. And it's interesting to me how we were in control. That's what the Democrats said about us, that, we weren't for the First Amendment. They're these free thinkers, and, let's give porn to our kids in public school, and, let's let them free think. No.
That's groupthink.
Well, they want to shut people down so people can't say nothing about what they do and can't criticize and can't have a voice. And it's just completely unconstitutional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is everything he does is unconstitutional.
Yeah.
And we've actually looked at recalling Governor Northam, and I work with a attorney friend here in Virginia Beach, and we have done an investigation, thousands of pages of FOIA requests and documents, looking for that quote unquote smoking gun. And in order to recall someone in Virginia, not only do you need 10% of the voting population to recall the governor, you also have to prove malfeasance in the legal terms. So to meet that threshold, it's really difficult to recall a governor. And, we've looked at that. And what we found is, number one, once this takes place, if we had, which I think I could recruit all the people to collect the signatures to recall them. I don't think that would be an issue at all. But it would go before the Richmond court, and we only have liberal judges there. But let's just say we didn't. Best case scenario, then we end up with Lieutenant Governor Justin Fairfax, who's also a Democrat. And there you go again. So by that point, Governor Northam is out. Thankfully, the saving grace. Okay, here's a win. In Virginia, you only get 1 4-year term as governor. I'm going to call that a win.
Yeah. Was that Terry McAuliffe? Was that the reason that came about?
Yeah. He only got one 4-year term. Yeah. And then Northam only has 4 years. So hopefully the people have woken up. They're registering to vote. They're registering their neighbors to vote. And hope to God they show up.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully they learn the lesson. I mean, Northam was the guy. Let's go back a little bit before all the gun hoopla. He was the one who said it's okay to let a baby die. Just let's sit there and decide if they were going to let the baby live or die after birth. And so that's infanticide, right? You're killing a baby after it was born.
And if that's not bad enough, the fact that he is a pediatric neurologist, it takes the oath to do no harm and to allow a baby to die. But this is what gets me. I introduced a bill that it's called the pain capable bill, which basically says that at 20 weeks that a baby can feel pain. The Democrats wouldn't even hear my bill. It was a pro-life bill. Yet, you know what the Democrats push forward? Legislation that protects those who are on death row and get a lethal injection from feeling any type of pain, because that would be considered inhumane. Yeah. My mind just can't get wrapped around that.
There's a Bible verse. It's John 8:44. They are of the father, the devil. I mean, you've got to be evil that you would kill a baby, but you'd want to comfort and aid a criminal and pass it on to the other side. That's what we're up against. It's a spiritual battle as much as anything else. I mean, we're fighting spiritual issues through the political system, and we need a revival more than we need elections. If we had a revival, maybe people would vote out these evil people that are infesting our government. But I'm glad you're there fighting the good fight.
Yes, I am, and I just pray for Virginia. Pray for us. We'll pray for you. It's not easy being on the front lines in the General Assembly, and I'd like to say that all Republicans are of the same mind that I am, but unfortunately, there's a lot of fear that sets in, and whenever you're in the minority, it's tempting for some to vote with the Democrats, and that's what's really discouraging is whenever you see folks who are on your side of the aisle voting with the Democrats, and it just we have a brand and we need to reclaim our brand. Right. And if people would do that, I think we would have a lot more victories. We have so many people who have given up, and there's so many people who've given up on even voting because they feel like their vote doesn't matter. Right. And they just get so frustrated and they throw their hands up. And one of the things that I've said in Virginia, as I said that it's going to be tough when in Northern Virginia. It's going to be tough, really tough. But I believe with God, all things are possible. And I feel like instead of compromising and moderating to the middle and trying to look more like a Democrat, I think we double down on our values that are commonly and widely held across the state of Virginia, because I think those people are tired of our Republican candidates that we set forward that tend to be more moderate. I mean, we've got to run candidates that are representative of most of Virginia. And then I think those people who have stopped voting will come back out and vote. And the people who aren't registered to vote, I think they're awake right now. I know a number of hunters who reached out to me and said, look, I'm not into politics. I really don't vote. I hunt. Right. But now that this is affecting their hunting, they're going to figure out how to sign up to vote, and they're going to get registered. We're going to win.
That's like Troy and I we talk all the time on the show. people think that it can't come to their state. They're sitting there happy and don't go vote and the whole 9 yards. And we're like, look at Virginia. Look what happened to Virginia. It could happen to us. I live in Georgia, and Kentucky too. Kentucky just happened, and we came that close to having Stacey Abrams as our governor.
I've got family, as I was telling you earlier, in Georgia, and I was at CPAC, and I actually met your governor's team. And was really, I loved his commercials, Governor Kemp's commercials.
Oh yeah.
They are awesome. But we can't give up. I mean, we've got to have hope, and we need people, the silent majority, to step up. We can't be silent anymore. It's killing our country. It's killing our kids. It takes some courage and some boldness to step up and be different and to challenge current thinking.
Right.
But the minority is vocal, and if we don't step up and we're not vocal, then our liberties are only going to continue to be thrown out the window.
Right.
Yep.
Going back to what you were saying earlier about that, we need people to actually, sort of do what they say they're going to do when they run for office. I think the thing about Trump is that he's got so many people excited because he's not a politician.
Mm-hmm.
He has done most of the things he said he was going to do, or has tried to, against 100% opposition. I mean, even the Republicans were against him the first 2 years in office. And yet he was been the statesman in the fact that he stuck to what he said he was going to try to do, and he's done as much of it as he can do. That's the thing that burned me out about politics. I mean, I helped with RNC in 2000, 2004, 2008 to win elections. I mean, I went to all these different places and ran polling centers and things in Missouri and places around the country. And then the Republicans got into the leadership, and they sat on their butt and spent money just like everybody else. And it was so disheartening that you said you were going to do this, and you go in there and you act just like the Democrats. And so I think a lot of the country is just burned up. They're tired of Republicans. They're tired of Democrats. And I was the same way. I want a statesman that goes in there on values and does what they said they're going to do. And if we can get people to go into office and run against these rhinos and these socialist Democrats, the people will get behind them. If we can really get them, get real people who are not just there for the paycheck, but they're there for their country. And they're there. That's a sacrificial thing. I know running for office is such a sacrificial thing. I've ran for office. Doug's ran for office locally. I mean, we weren't statewide, but we went in for magistrate stuff, and it takes a lot of time and money, and I can't even imagine running for governor. So we'll be praying for you, and anything else we could do to help, we'd be glad to. I know that we went way past the 30 minutes we were promised. I know you're a busy person, so I don't want to keep you all night, but we appreciate you coming on with us.
Well, thank you, and I'd love to come back. I really want to talk more about pay to play,
right,
which has infected our government. I spent 4 years figuring things out. I'm going to spend the next 4 exposing what's going on and why we have basically a lobbyist who are turning our states. I always say Virginia is looking more like Nevada because of the lobbyists that we have there. We're balancing in Virginia. We're balancing our budget on alcohol, drugs, and
lottery tickets.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's going on. And it's the lobbyists that are controlling that. I actually left my Republican Senate caucus because of the leader that was elected. And I said, I won't sit under that kind of leadership. I won't sit under a leader that introduces bills to restrict my gun rights. Not doing it. So I left.
Yeah, I remember when there was 2 of your senators that, Republican senators that was pushing for the same garbage. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, it's maddening. I got fed up with it, and just from that standpoint, I've had a great year. That was one of my wins. I didn't have to sit through long caucus meetings, but
that's true. It saves you some time,
right?
But we really go ahead.
I was going to say that's why we want to get you on the show so you could talk, get your views out there. Because since we started watching since Rally Day, I told somebody a while ago on one of our social medias, I've been chatting while we've been talking. People are talking to us, and I told them, I said, she's the real deal. She really is, and Virginia needs a change, and you're right in line with the way we think.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well,
Hey,
I'm in line with the way I think most of normals are normal America, I think.
I don't know how normal we are, but you think like us anyway.
well, you're welcome back here anytime. We'd be glad to have you. And if there's any new updates or things like that, we would be honored to have you back with us. And we're appreciative of the time tonight. I know you're a very busy lady, so we will be respectful of that and let you get out of here if you've got anything else before you go.
Tell them one more time how to support you.
So you can support me by going to chase the number 4 gov.com and donating there. We greatly appreciate it. $5, $10. We know these are hard times for people. We have been so humbled by the generosity of people during such a difficult time right now. But we're going to put it to good use.
Amen. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
Thanks, everyone. Y'all have a good night.
Thanks, Senator.
All right. So it's good to hear what's going on in Virginia and that she's running for office. Hopefully she can get that juggernaut turned around and heading back in another direction, right?
Man, they need somebody, and
They need a bunch of somebody. If you're in Virginia and you aren't an ignorant person that would like to take everyone's guns away, and if you're pro-life, I think you ought to run for office, whatever area you're in, local office, state office. I mean, same thing in every state. If you have the ability to put 2 words together, I mean, you have to be able to talk better than Doug and I, but if you have the ability to put 2 words together and fight against this stuff, step up and run. At least make the Democrats spend money to take these seats. Don't let them just take them because there's nobody running against them. Step up and run. You never know. People might vote for you, especially if you're not already a politician. If you're outside, I mean, get on the coattails of Trump's not being a politician kind of thing. People want an outsider that isn't looking out to get a big paycheck and kickbacks from being in office.
That's right.
Oh, my blood pressure gets up when I have to talk about politics.
Oh, I know. You can tell she gets fired up too.
Yeah. I like that she's got a fire attitude. All right, Doug, let's get back to our show. Let's see. We'll think the band was
a show.
We got a show to finish. Well, after all that, we still got to finish your show. Well, thank you, band sponsor Farms Road Network. We appreciate them sponsoring all that content for you guys to download at your convenience. Also, Oath Keepers TV. We appreciate them putting our show out there on their different social media and platforms. And thank you guys for watching and being a part of that. We can't always see you guys over on Oath Keepers TV. I'm sorry. I've got like 4 feeds I'm trying to follow. So if you're commenting, it's not that we don't love you. It's just we can't see you at the same time. But we need to get some more moderators to be able to watch these different locations.
Yeah.
Also, we want to remember
Crossbreed Holsters. Hey, you've heard us talk about if you're carrying a gun on your person in your vehicle or your wife has one in her pocketbook, Crossbreed makes a holster for you. Check our buddies out at crossbreedholsters.com. Carry the cross. Also, PowerTac lights. Hey, Lane, those guys have a sale going on right now, and they got a light kit for the AR. So take advantage of their generosity and the 40% discount that we get through PowerTac. So go check our buddies out at PowerTac.com. Also, Palmetto State Armory. Hey, if you're putting together an AR or looking for pieces, parts, optics, flashlights, whatever you're looking for, magazines, Palmetto State has them. Use our affiliate link, and Palmetto State sends us back a little love for every dollar you send and spend with them. So help those guys out.
good deal. This week's guiding gun activities. What have you been up to, Doug?
I've been doing my daily Sportsman's Daily Devotional. I missed church online on Sunday. I've got recruited into helping my daughter remodel a bathroom. So, yeah, so I was working on that, and that's where I get to go bright and early in the morning and continue working on that. But it's a worthwhile project. It's my daughter. You know, what can I say? Yeah. So I haven't done a whole lot other than that. Haven't been hunting at all. I haven't had a single pig on camera since Apocalypse last Thursday. And I don't know if we killed them all or what, but they ain't been back. They're running scared right now. So we're just waiting, biding my time.
You have to go to the neighboring farms and see if they got your pigs now.
I know. Yeah.
Have our pigs ran over on your field?
me and my buddy Andy put a hurt on them the other night, so it was fun. And before we started the show tonight, that's what I was doing was I had one in the back of my truck in the cooler icing. I like to ice them down, let it drain. It pulls the blood out, drain it, ice it, drain it. I like to do it for about 7 days.
Yep.
And it gets the blood out of the meat, takes the wild game taste out of it, and makes it really good. So I just got done processing the one I had. So I got it all packaged in the freezer. I got an empty cooler, so it's time to go get another one.
Go fill it up again.
That's right. What you been up to?
Of course, regular daily Bible reading, doing this. It's been a month now. We've been doing the prayer and fasting every day. I think I missed one Friday because of a personal thing, but I've lost 11 pounds in the last 4 weeks on the fast, and been praying with people every morning. And let's see what else I've been doing. On the gun side, of course, everyday carry. Let's see, reloaded 250 rounds of 147 grain 9mm.
Yeah, I've been seeing the reloading videos.
Yeah, I cleaned and deprimed and polished another 2,000 rounds of 9mm brass. I've got 1,000 rounds of 223 that I've started polishing. I've got to deprime those. I just put them in the tumbler, left them for like 4 hours, and I go back and deprime them, then throw them to the polisher a little bit longer, and they should be good to go. I'm waiting for some powder to come in. I've reloaded all my 223 powder, and I don't know how long it's going to take for that powder to come in. So that's pretty much been going on with that. What else did I do? I changed out a sight, put in a tritium sight on one of my AR pistols, and that's about it on guns. I wanted to go shooting, but it's just been sort of crazy this week. Had a lot of new things pop up and take my time. We'll see.
I posted a picture over on our Facebook site earlier. My friend Luke turned 21 this past month. Actually, Easter Sunday, he turned 21, and he is a new concealed carry. And he sent me a picture of his gun in his new Crossbreed Holster Super Tuck Deluxe today.
Good deal.
Yeah, man. So we got another one.
Good deal. Let's see. EDC carrying the Glock 30S, and as you were saying earlier, it needs a good cleaning. It gets that
oh man
dust on it from carrying in that holster all the time. And you carry a gun all the time, they have to be cleaned like at least once a week. And then my backup gun tonight, I'm carrying the Ruger SP-101, the spurless. Let's see. 357 Magnum. And
don't show that on the camera. Well, show it on the camera real good, because my son-in-law wants one so bad he can't stand it. So
it's got the Crimson Trace grips on it. So you just point a little laser, and there you go. That's my backup gun that I was carrying. Go ahead. What you got?
I got, of course, Glock 19 with my student of the gun night vision sights on it. I have that, and I'm out in the garage today, and my backup's a little bigger than yours, but that's all right.
I've got one right here within reach.
I got Puff 2.0, and there's my new PowerTac light that I have mounted up on it, and it's got the
I've got the bunker gun here close by.
There you go. This gun's got the Echo trigger in it with the go fast mode, so I like it.
Cool. I got a 5-stick in mine.
Oh yeah, there you go.
So we're ready to make a little noise. I didn't say Illinois.
Not Illinois, no.
Nothing wrong with people in Illinois.
No.
Just the governor and some other mayors and things like that. All right. I don't know who the governor is in Illinois now. I don't know if it's a Democrat or Republican. One of them got out of jail recently. Trump let him out. He was a Democrat.
Oh, that was
Blagojevich.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Trying to sell Obama's Senate seat.
Yeah. Something else.
I guess it's a good idea if you don't get caught.
Talking about corruption in government.
I know, right?
All right. So I got a little bit of feedback. While I'm doing that, you go ahead and do the joke, and I'll see if I can find my feedback. Somebody had sent me something. I'm pretty sure.
I got to go. I got a good one for you tonight. So, a senior citizen drove his brand new Corvette convertible out of the dealership. Taking off down the road, he floored it up to 80 miles an hour, enjoying the wind blowing through what little gray hair he had left. Amazing, he thought, as he flew down I-94, pushing the pedal even more. Looking in his rearview mirror, he looks up and sees a state trooper behind him, flashing his lights, and the sirens are blaring. He floored it to 100 miles an hour, then 110, then 120. Suddenly, he thought, "What am I doing? I'm too old for this, and I'm just going to pull over and wait for the trooper to arrive." Pulling in behind him, the trooper walked up to the Corvette, looked at his watch, and said, "Sir, my shift ends in 30 minutes, and today is Friday. If you can give me a reason for speeding that I haven't heard before, I'll let you go." The old gentleman paused for just a second, and then he said, "Years ago, my wife ran off with a state trooper, and I thought you was bringing her back." "Have a nice day, sir," replied the trooper.
I have to say it, Doug. I hate to say it. You've done that one before.
No way. I've
Yep.
never.
Yeah.
It must have been 6 years ago. I hadn't heard
It's
that
been
one.
a while. It's been more than 2 years ago. It's been
When I saw that one, I was laughing. I was like, I like that. I'm going to have to use that one.
You resemble that joke, huh?
Mhm.
Thank you, Steven. I appreciate it. Yes, the 30S is a legit 45.
It is.
Good deal. I've been thinking about getting a 29. I love the 10 millimeters. Now that I'm reloading, I love it even more because I can afford to shoot it.
I've been thinking about getting a 30S.
Yeah, well, there you go. I like the 30S. I love the way it shoots, the way it feels in my hand. When I point it, it's always right out. I mean, natural point aim is just right there. That's why I still went back to carrying it from the 19. It was more natural for me than even with the red dot. Excuse me, 19.
Luckily, I don't live in Virginia where I can only buy one a month. What nonsense.
Yep. Right now, I wish I could afford to buy one a month.
I know, right?
I'm going to have to mute myself for a second because I'm getting ready to cough all in y'all's ears.
My wife probably would like it if they only had a thing in Georgia for one a month, but kid, and she don't care. She didn't care what I get usually. I do. I'm like you. I do a lot of wheeling dealing.
Yep.
Makes it more fun that way.
All right. So I'm going to read the Bible verse for the day. We're coming to 1 Timothy, chapter 2. We'll go verses 1 through 6. And let's see if I can pop that up there where you guys can see it. So you don't have to take my word for it. Where is it? There. Oh, there we go. It's all highlighted. Okay, let's close that. There we go. First of all, then I urge that supplications, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgiving be made for all people, for kings and all who are in high positions, that we may lead a peaceful and quiet life, godly and dignified in every way. This is good, and it is pleasing in the sight of God our Savior, who desires all people to be saved and come to the knowledge of truth. For there is one God, and there is one mediator between God and men, the man Christ Jesus, who gave himself as a ransom for all, which is the testimony given at the proper time. And so, just as our guest tonight, Senator Amanda Chase, had asked for prayers, we're called to pray. We're called to pray for our leaders and called to pray for our senators, and we're called to pray for those in high positions so that we can live a quiet, peaceful life. And so it's important that we pray for them every day, pray for their salvation, as we were talking about, that they would be turned from selfishness and their selfish desires into honoring God and doing what they were called to do, and serving the people. I mean, they're called to service. I mean, public a position as a politician is a public servant. It's not a king. It's not someone who has the right to go around throwing edicts out. You're there at the behest of the people for a limited period of time, and you're there to do the will of the people, not the will that lines your pockets. And until we start having some justice to get rid of this corruption that's rampant in politics, and not just in the Democratic Party. There's a bunch of corrupt Republicans as well. But get all corruption out of politics. I mean, I don't care who they're getting money from. They need to be in there for the people, not for special interests, especially communist party people. I mean, we got people that work for the Chinese government in our government. It's ridiculous. That should be capital punishment. When you have people in public office taking money from Chinese people who are pretty much our enemy. I mean, the way they treat us with, well, let's leave it at that. They're our enemy, especially since they give us a bunch of stuff, a bunch of diseases and stuff. I don't have to complicate it. You know what I'm talking about. All right. So we already talked to Amanda and sent her Amanda Chase, and she's running for office. So you guys support her if you're able to. Let's see, where else we're going? The way you can support us, a couple more things, and then we'll be on to this Armed Citizen of the Week. Ooh, that's a good one. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to like that one. You can help us out by buying patches and stickers. We had some guys buy them this week. We appreciate it. We got Josh is saying something here. But you can buy patches and stickers. I've sold a few this week, and we appreciate that. And what else? Zija. If you guys want to know about Zija, you go to godandguns.myzija.com. I don't know if that. I know they're doing some changes over there. Zija got bought out by another company, and websites are changing around. So if you don't find it there, just text me at troy@godandgunspodcast.com, and I will get you information about what it is I take, and we'll see what happens there. Oath Keepers, we want to thank Oath Keepers for putting our information out there again. And you guys that have been in the military or currently military, police, law enforcement, first responders, have served in the military in any form or fashion, you're welcome to join the Oath Keepers. You can go to oathkeepers.org and find out more about it. Also, they are raffling off a Ruger AR-15 to help fund. I know that I see Stuart was down in Texas, down there rallying for the barber that got thrown in jail because of the judge that wanted her to beg forgiveness for daring to go to work. That was just amazing to see.
Yeah.
So, you guys can support Oath Keepers and their efforts and become an Oath Keeper yourself. Even if you're haven't served like me, hadn't served any kind of military, police, or law enforcement, or anything like that, you can still become an associate member. And there's a place for us as well. And so check them out, oathkeepers.org. Also, Sub-MOA Shooting, our buddy Wally is giving a coupon code. So if you guys are reloaders like I am and want to reload rifle bullets, he has a good line of high-quality bullets. And you use the code God and Guns, and you can get a discount as well. Also,
Crossbreed Holsters. Hey, you heard me talk about my buddy Luke just got his first Super Tuck Deluxe for his gun. He's going to love it. If you don't have a Crossbreed, you need to get one and try it. You're going to love it too. They got pretty much any holster you want for any way you want to carry it, and they are comfortable. Let's just face it. If you're carrying and it's an uncomfortable holster, you're not going to carry, and that's not what you want. So go check our buddies out at crossbreedholsters.com. Use our promo code G&G, get a 10% discount when you check out, just for listening to the show. Also, Axelson Tactical. Troy and I have showed you our rifles that Jeff and Axelson have sent us that are just tack drivers. That's what I hog hunt with mine. Jeff actually had it Cerakoted just for me because he knew I hunted, and they work great. But they make high performance ARs, they customize pistols, they're long range shooter. They have long range stuff. But go check our buddies out at AxelsonUSA.com. Use a promo code God and Guns, and you get a 10% discount over there for also listening. Hey, PowerTac lights. I just showed you the light that I have mounted on a Puff 2.0, and it works like a champ. They have hundreds of different flashlights. I have a headlamp that I use that is 2,600 lumens. When you have it up on the bright setting, it will light the woods up. They have lights for law enforcement, for military, for just little pins that tote around in your pocket, whatever you want. PowerTech makes a light for you that will help you out. And man, you can't beat the customer service lifetime warranty on it. And they're giving our listeners a 40% discount on anything on their site, even if it's an on sale item. So go check them out at powertac.com and use that promo code God and Guns and find something you like, what you will, and show them a little bit of support. Also, last but not least, is our affiliate with Palmetto State Armory. If you're putting stuff together, I got an email from a guy the other day that said he had just got a new 300 blackout and used our promo codes or our affiliate link, which helps us out too. But hey, everybody's always looking for ammo, parts, pieces, optics, you name it, they got it. But go check our buddies out, Palmetto State Armory, and they will show us a little love in return when you buy something.
Good deal. Armed Citizen of the Week. What we got?
Armed Citizen this week comes to us from Fayetteville, and a would-be intruder shot to death on a back porch of Fayetteville home. This happened actually on May the 3rd. No charges are expected in the death of a man yelling aggressively and banging on the door in a Fayetteville subdivision, who was subsequently shot by the resident of one of the homes after reportedly trying to gain entry. Fayetteville police officers on May 3rd were dispatched at 11:11 p.m. to a home in Habersham Drive, where several residents reported that an adult male was yelling aggressively and banging on houses in the neighborhood, said Fayetteville Police Department spokesman Anne Marie Burdett. At one point, the subject reportedly attempted to gain entry in a home in Habersham Drive, and he was shot by the resident of the home, Burdett said. Burdett said when police arrived on scene, the subject was found deceased on the back porch of the home. There was no further incident on the scene, she said. Burdett said no charges are anticipated in the case, which is still under investigation, and they put an update on May 6th. Fayetteville police said the man shot and killed on May 3rd after reportedly attempting to enter a residence in Habersham Drive was 33-year-old Anthony C. I don't know what his name is. Vorholzer of Middleport, New York. So police said Vorholzer was shot from inside the home, and no charges are pending on that one.
Fayetteville, where? Fayetteville.
I don't know.
Interesting.
It was. It didn't say what state. It just said Fayetteville.
Interesting. Okay. Depends on the state. Some people don't let you shoot through the door. I don't know. Assuming he was shot through the door. He might have shot through the crack of the door. He was breaking into the door. Interesting. All right. Let's see. I've lost my place. There we go. You got anything else, Doug?
I looked at one of the comments. Mark comment over here.
Yeah,
he likes the show, and he says he's got his first Crossbreed holster ordered. He ordered the Reckoning with a mag holder. You know, it's funny he's talking about the Reckoning because I was watching Professor Paul and Jared broadcast today, and I had them up, and Jared was talking about he carries in the Reckoning also. Mm-hmm. He said he likes to carry appendix, but
yeah, I've got a Reckoning for the Glock 1926. If it's a 1926 and 30 something, I mean.
Yep, I have one too.
Yeah, it's a great one. That's what Gunner is carrying in is Reckoning. He's got a Glock 19. He's carrying the Reckoning in.
I don't know. I still like the Super Tuck Deluxe personally. It just
I like two clips. Yeah, I like that. I mean, if you put the magazine on the other side of the holster, you got two clips on the belt. But I like the thinness of it. I mean, if I was a guy that could carry appendix carry or would dare to wear appendix carry. I can wear an XDS appendix carry.
What did you call it that one time? We don't appendix carry because of our tactical muffin top.
Yeah, tactical muffin top. My tactical muffin top in the front's getting a lot skinnier. I'm getting there.
There you go.
I'm down. I'm 2 notches from being too small for the belt. The last Crossbreed belt. This is my 3rd one. So I've done put like 4 extra holes in one belt and 7 or 8 holes in my one that I started out like a 60. I'm down in the 38 range, 38 and 40 range now. So,
nice.
Oh, not 38 or 40. 40, 46, 48 range. 38. Well, I wish I was in the 38 range. That was back when I was about 23 and benching about 500 pounds. Those were some good years back then. All right, we're going to wrap this puppy up. We appreciate you guys watching. Please share, like, and let everybody know about the show. And if you have opportunity, help out Senator Chase and her run for governor. And let your friends know about her. Send your feedback to Troy at GuyGunsPodcast.com or
Doug at GuyGunsPodcast.com.
Please leave us an iTunes review. If you've not left us one in like last 2 years or something, leave us a new one because we need those. And like us on Facebook. You can leave us a review on Facebook as well at Facebook.com/GuyGunsPodcast. You can subscribe to us on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter at GuyGunsPod. You can search for us on Instagram, and you can search for us on MeWe. And I'm not even going to say that next one there, Doug. Till next time, have a blessed week.
Keep your guns close, but keep your Bibles closer.
Hey, guys, thanks a lot. Appreciate you coming and listening and sharing and posting and liking. And we will talk to you guys. I'll talk to you on Monday, Lord willing.
Yeah,
And Doug will join us next week from now. Adios.
Good night, all.